On a placid Tuesday in the unassuming year of 1888, the village of Oakhaven, nestled deep within the verdant embrace of the Appalachian Mountains, was a picture of serene rural life. Its inhabitants, no more than 300 souls, lived simply, their days marked by the rhythm of farming, the forging of iron, and the gentle murmur of the nearby Willow Creek. Children played in dusty lanes, their laughter echoing against the backdrop of ancient trees, while their elders shared tales and troubles on creaking porch swings. The scent of wood smoke mingled with blooming wildflowers, creating an atmosphere of timeless tranquility. Yet, as the sun dipped below the jagged peaks that evening, casting long, eerie shadows across the valley, an unspoken tension began to weave itself through the usual cadence of Oakhaven. A peculiar stillness descended, muffling the chirping of crickets and the rustling of leaves. Dogs whimpered inexplicably, their barks silenced, and livestock shifted uneasily in their pens. A few villagers, those with a keen sense for the subtle shifts in nature, noticed an oppressive quietude, an unnatural hush that seemed to swallow even the faintest sounds. Elder Thomas, the village's unofficial historian, and a man whose life had spanned 8 decades within Oakhaven's borders, felt a prickle of unease. He recalled old legends, whispered in hushed tones around winter fires, of the mountain holding its breath, of ancient forces stirring beneath the earth. He dismissed them as fanciful tales, yet the feeling persisted, a cold tendril of dread wrapping around his heart. By midnight, a thick, impenetrable fog had rolled in, blanketing Oakhaven in an ethereal shroud. It was unlike any fog the villagers had ever witnessed, dense, almost solid, with an odd, earthy smell that some described as akin to damp soil mixed with ozone. It clung to every surface, obscuring familiar landmarks and turning the closest lanterns into dim, wavering glows. Those few who awoke in the dead of night reported strange occurrences. A low, rhythmic hum seemed to vibrate through the very ground. A sound felt more than heard. Shadows danced at the periphery of vision, fleeting and indistinct. A young mother, roused by her fretful infant, swore she saw figures moving in the swirling mist outside her window, tall and gaunt, their forms barely discernible. But fear, and the oppressive silence, kept her from investigating further. As the first faint streaks of dawn threatened to pierce the eastern sky, an even profounder silence fell upon Oakhaven. It was a silence so absolute, so complete, that it felt like a physical weight, pressing down on the very air. The rhythmic hum ceased. The shadows vanished. The fog, however, remained, clinging stubbornly to the village. When the sun finally broke through, painting the world in hues of gold and rose, a lone traveler, a peddler named Silas, who regularly passed through Oakhaven, made his way down the winding mountain path. He anticipated the usual lively morning scene, smoke curling from chimneys, the clang of the blacksmith's hammer, the distant bleating of sheep. But, as he emerged from the dense woods, he stopped dead in his tracks. The fog still hung heavy over where Oakhaven should have been, but it was thinner now, almost translucent, and through it Silas could see nothing. Where houses once stood, where the village square bustled, where the church steeple reached towards the heavens, there was only an empty expanse. The fog swirled around bare patches of earth, some overgrown with sudden, inexplicable patches of unfamiliar moss. The blacksmith's forge, the general store, the familiar homes, all were gone, vanished without a trace. Silas, a man of stout heart and practical mind, initially believed he had lost his way. He consulted his map, tracing the familiar contours of the mountain, the bends in Willow Creek. His map clearly indicated Oakhaven's location. He walked forward, his boots sinking into the soft earth where the main road should have been, calling out names, his voice swallowed by the eerie silence. No response. No sign of human habitation. The only sound was the gentle rush of Willow Creek, now flowing unhindered through an open field where homes had stood just hours before. The trees surrounding the former village site stood sentinel, ancient and unmoving, offering no answers. Panic, cold and sharp, began to creep into Silas's heart. He circled the area repeatedly, his confusion turning to a deep, unsettling dread. He found no rubble, no splintered wood, no overturned furniture. It was as if Oakhaven had been plucked from the earth whole, leaving behind not even a footprint. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. News of the disappeared village spread like wildfire through the surrounding communities. Authorities from the nearest town, Blackwood Creek, organized search parties. Seasoned trackers, hardened frontiersmen, and curious onlookers combed every inch of the area where Oakhaven had been. They found nothing. Not a single plank of wood, not a broken tool, not a scrap of cloth. The ground was undisturbed, save for the unexplained growth of the strange, pale green moss that seemed to thrive in the cleared space. The only lingering evidence that a village had ever existed there was the faint, lingering scent of damp earth and something indefinable, something ancient and cold, that seemed to permeate the very air. The theories began to proliferate, each more fantastic than the last. Some spoke of an earthquake, so precise and powerful that it had swallowed the village whole, leaving no surface damage. But geologists dismissed this, citing the lack of seismic activity in the region and the impossibility of such a clean disappearance. Others whispered of a flash flood, a wall of water so immense it had scoured the land bare. Yet, Willow Creek, while prone to seasonal swelling, was never known to unleash such devastating power, and again, there was no evidence of water damage, no deposited silt, no signs of erosion. The most popular and terrifying theories veered into the supernatural. Local folklore, often dismissed as superstitious nonsense, suddenly found a renewed audience. Tales of ancient spirits, of mountain gods angered by human encroachment, of a vengeful shadow weaver who could erase existence with a mere thought, began to circulate with chilling conviction. One persistent rumor spoke of the Whispering Woods, a dense, unexplored section of forest bordering Oakhaven that locals had always avoided. It was said to be home to strange lights and disembodied voices, a place where the veil between worlds was thin. Had Oakhaven somehow stumbled into its grasp? A few bold individuals ventured into the Whispering Woods after the disappearance, hoping to find clues. They returned shaken, reporting a profound sense of disorientation, of time bending, and of seeing fleeting, indistinct shapes moving within the trees. None stayed long enough to provide concrete evidence, their fear driving them back to the comparative safety of civilization. Reverend Elijah Stone, a man of God known for his unwavering faith and logical mind, found himself deeply troubled. He interviewed Silas, the peddler, extensively, cross-referencing his account with the few other individuals who had approached Oakhaven that fateful morning. All corroborated the complete and utter absence of the village. Reverend Stone, despite his scientific leanings, could not shake the feeling that something profoundly unnatural had occurred. He delved into ancient texts, searching for parallels, for any historical account of a similar disappearance. He found only fragmented legends, tales of lost cities swallowed by the earth or carried away by unseen forces, none offering a tangible explanation for Oakhaven's fate. The families of the Oakhaven villagers, those who had relatives in nearby towns, were plunged into an unimaginable grief and bewilderment. They held memorials, but without bodies, without any closure. Their sorrow was a raw, open wound. They clung to the hope, however faint, that their loved ones might somehow reappear, somewhere, somehow. Over the decades, the story of Oakhaven became a haunting local legend, a chilling reminder of the unknown forces that might lie hidden beneath the veneer of ordinary life. Tourists and thrill-seekers occasionally visited the site, drawn by the macabre mystery, hoping to catch a glimpse of a ghostly apparition or to uncover a forgotten artifact. They found nothing but the silence, and the persistent, unsettling feeling that something profound had transpired there. Scientists and paranormal investigators, intrigued by the enduring enigma, have conducted numerous studies over the years. Ground-penetrating radar has been used to scan the Earth beneath the former village site, revealing no significant anomalies, no buried structures, no signs of a mass grave. Magnetic field detectors showed no unusual fluctuations. Soil samples revealed nothing out of the ordinary, save for the strange moss, which defied classification. One eccentric amateur historian, a recluse named Agatha Finch, spent her entire life collecting every scrap of information she could find about Oakhaven. She interviewed descendants of the original search parties, poring over faded newspaper clippings and dusty church records. Her most compelling, though unproven theory, revolved around a rare celestial alignment said to occur only once every few centuries. A convergence of planetary forces that, according to ancient texts, could briefly thin the barriers between dimensions. Agatha believed that on that particular Tuesday night in 1888, during the dense fog and the profound silence, Oakhaven had somehow slipped into another dimension, a parallel existence, or perhaps even a temporal anomaly. She argued that the absence of debris wasn't a sign of destruction, but of relocation. The village, she hypothesized, was simply no longer here. She presented her findings to skeptical academics, who largely dismissed her work as the rambling of a deluded old woman. Yet, Agatha persisted, her eyes alight with the fire of conviction. She pointed to subtle shifts in the landscape around the former village site, trees that seemed older than they should be, or rock formations that didn't quite match historical maps. She claimed these were faint echoes, residual imprints of Oakhaven's departure. The mystery of Oakhaven continues to captivate and confound. It remains a stark reminder that despite our scientific advancements and our relentless pursuit of knowledge, there are still corners of our world, and indeed of existence itself, that defy explanation. It challenges our understanding of reality, forcing us to confront the possibility that the world we perceive is but one layer of a far more complex and enigmatic tapestry. Was it a natural phenomenon so rare and devastating that it left no trace? Was it the work of something supernatural, an entity beyond human comprehension? Or did Oakhaven, a peaceful village nestled in the heart of the mountains, simply step out of our reality? The questions linger, unanswered, echoing through the empty space where Oakhaven once stood. The silence that now hangs over that clearing is not an ordinary silence. It is a profound, watchful silence, as if the very air remembers, and perhaps waits. And sometimes, on a quiet night, when the moon hangs full and low over the Appalachian peaks, some claim to hear a faint, distant hum, carried on the wind, a phantom echo of a village that vanished in one night. The story of Oakhaven serves as a chilling testament to the fragility of our existence and the enduring power of the unknown. It is a tale whispered around campfires, a cautionary myth, and a haunting question mark etched into the landscape of human history. The empty space where Oakhaven once thrived is now a silent monument to a mystery that refuses to be solved, a perpetual enigma inviting speculation and fear, a place where the ordinary became extraordinary in the most terrifying way imaginable. And so, the legend of Oakhaven lives on, a chilling reminder that some disappearances are not meant to be understood, only to be remembered.